Welcome back to the GSTL with Caldor and Wolf and ZENEX and Liquid. And I'm like, actually, I had to finish chewing my chocolate that I was eating. And now I'm good. We're good. Team Liquid currently up 1-0, taking out ZENEX Avenge with Zenio showing some great patience.
Team Liquid just talking a little bit about the last match in the break, and obviously Zenio preparing for his next match. He's up in his ZVZ, he's up against Life. Both of them great players in the mirror matchup. I was just talking a bit with Wolf about the next match, and it should be a great one. We have Life with a really good record. He has a 72% win ratio, only 18 games in total, but he was able to win 13 of them. And let's not forget that his opponents are very, very strong Korean players, as for example Boom Boom, who he defeated just recently at Iron Squid. Life was able to take out Stefano with a 2-1. And well, also another win against Realmaker that's listed here. He lost against Lucky, but that was already a while ago. That was back in February, so Life is looking really strong in this matchup, and ZENEX wouldn't have picked Life if they weren't really, really confident in his abilities to win a mirror match.
It's hard to judge these ZENEX players based on their stats that they have online, because really they're all just kind of ZENEX players that play on the ladder and play with each other, and they're kind of behind the scenes. See if he can take out Zenio in this ZVZ. The map is Daybreak. Let's find out who will take a lead here. Well, if ZENEX wins, they'll tie things up, but this is the GSTL with Caldor and Wolf. What is that song, man? I want that song to play like when I enter the studio.
I think you have to talk to BK. To the top right, we have our ZENEX player. ZENEX is down a game, and now they send in
ZENEX Life
to even out the scores. ZENEX Life. He looked a little bit early like he was up the entire night practicing for this match. He looked a little bit tired, but he's very concentrated here. Tries to take Zenio down, who just beat Avenge in the last game. To the bottom left, we have our Team Liquid player. It is
Liquid Genio.
Street Fighter Boys is pumped for this match, and so are we. We are on Daybreak, and usually on this map we see a little bit more passive style in the early game for ZVZ. Not that many early pools. Usually you would start with Canada
loves the GSL. That's how I'd start with, man, in ZVZ. But
no, usually they start with either a 15 hatch or a little bit of a later pool, and now we have Life already with a pool at 14.
Zenio
exactly, is going for the hatch first. A bit of a difference here. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly Life is going to do. He now takes his gas. It's going to be very, very important how much gas he actually mines.
Yeah, that's absolutely the most important thing. But I think he's going to have to make a Baneling nest when he sees that Zenio has gone hatch first.
Oh, we are going to see Banelings from both of these players. Very rarely these days are Banelings skipped on a Daybreak. Quite often you have Banelings immediately, but later on the transition into Roach just takes place, or straight into Mutalisks. But he has the Overlord down position, so he spots his opponents first, and then he can make a decision if he just wants to rely on speed, or if he wants to get more gas and also get the Banelings immediately.
Those are those stats for ZENEX, man. Those stats of like what happens if their second player loses, or like what happens if their first player wins, or something like that. But like obviously ZENEX won like almost no matches, so his stats were just really bad for them. Those are just, I mean, like it's not even really indicative of ZENEX, but like it was just kind of like a funny stat to have up there for that team. Well, speed has started here much significantly ahead.
And no gas anymore.
Yeah, and at this point, Zenio is just he started, or his gas finished as speed started, so obviously he's going to be really, really far behind with his speed research, and that can really come into play for things like scouting, things like catching Zerlings in the middle of the map, denying scouting. All of these things are really, really important with that faster Zerling speed, and he'll very likely be able to use that against his opponent. He knows his opponent's gone hatch first, he knows his speed's going to be a little bit earlier, but it's going to be really early, so he actually has a ton of different options with this.
He can get aggressive, or he can just try to focus on his economy. He knows his speed is faster, so there's no way that Zenio can actually be aggressive in this game. And he has the Baneling Nest for Zenio.
Baneling Nest before speed. He's going to use these Banelings defensively, potentially even before researching
That's the only thing
speed.
that he can do. Yeah. He has the scout information. He knows about the build that his opponent chose, so he knows that if so, Life will be the one to be aggressive. So choosing the Baneling Nest before you get speed is a very smart decision, because you won't be able to be aggressive anyways. You have to be passive.
And he sees all of the Lings right now, so that's going to be something that's going to make him really happy to know, okay, I made the right choice here. I will have Banelings in time for this big attack. And right now, in total, he's starting to drone up behind this because he knows he's been spotted, but he's got 14 Lings out.
What's pretty important here, though, is that there's not going to be a massive attack by
And there's
He does not have a Baneling Nest.
Exactly.
And he only has a few Zerglings that he's using right now.
Look at this clean block by Zenio. Drones get out. In fact, he won't even lose a single one.
It was well done.
Very well done.
He needs to get those Zerglings out, and that's the only thing that he wants to. He wants to kill a few drones.
He will get 2.
Yeah, he gets 2. That's all that he can achieve here. But he did not really want to commit to this. Now he's getting the Baneling Nest and additional Lings, so the second wave of attack might do more damage if he fully commits to it. But at first he was just trying to get more drones, to be a little bit aggressive, to force a reaction of Zenio, maybe get lucky, get into the main base. But the Team Liquid were spot on here with his queen position. I love what he's doing here,
man. He's actually he's making the best of a terrible situation, getting a few drones, even wastes a Baneling there, and he will get out. I mean, he was spotted, so he was like, well, I can't do what I wanted to do anymore, but I'm still going to make this work. He denied some mining, and in general, he killed 5 workers there for units lost. Definitely in his favor, about 200 resources in his favor, 250 to 450. So pretty good trade there overall, but Zenio's micro was very nice as well. I mean, it was really just more so impressive what Life was able to do. Life is hiding some Lings over to the side, will potentially morph some Banelings there and try to go for run by. There for both players got mutas in their plans, I think. Well, no, there's the Roach Warren actually going down. Oh, he's actually just going to sneak by here without making Banelings. And this is not going to work out. Gets 1 drone.
That's all he needs to do. He wanted
to Baneling as well.
He wanted to get into the main base. It's really crucial that you're able to block your ramp if your opponent is using Lings like this, because you want to hide your tech, you want to hide what exactly you are going to do. And as soon as a few Lings are in your base, you have to defend your natural and your main base against the harass. You have to be very careful about your drones. So I like how Life is playing this, not overcommitting, but still being aggressive, forcing Zenio to be very cautious. And he is pulling this off very, very well. He's going for a Roach follow-up. Well, if you don't have a Roach Warren for Zenio, it's most likely going to be a mutalist play. Yeah. He could resort to the Infestor. We've seen this, but now we have aggression and nice Banelings, killing a few drones here. Not as many as he could have killed. Oh, actually only 1.
Yeah, but he killed a decent amount of Lings with that, and so many drones were damaged. If he had gotten just 1 more hit off, he could have done more. Zenio's going to go Infestors. You know, you mentioned this was a possibility.
We've seen it yesterday as well.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to see mutas as well, but yesterday we saw like the most pure Infestor composition that the world has ever seen.
The problem if you go straight for Mutalist is that there's always timing really vulnerable, and Zenio does not really feel too comfortable right now.
Usually if you do that when you're ahead, you just win, but if you're not ahead, it's like you said, there's a lot of risk involved, a lot of pressure your opponent can put on you.
Especially in the natural, and Life already has shown that he wants to be aggressive here. He didn't get any Lings in the main base, well, but he saw the Roach Warren, I think, so he knows that there's an attack to be expected very, very soon. He needs to prepare for it.
The tech for Zenio is ahead in that he has Infestor tech first, but for his opponent, he's going to have faster +1. He's going to have Roach speed. He's going to build that Roach count faster, and also he has a much faster third base. Ooh, and even getting a Hydralisk then. Oh well, he decided to make an Infestation Pit instead. I think that was the smarter choice.
At this point, it's going to depend on the timing. We don't have... I'm really a bit worried here. He does not have the speed upgrade.
Oh, nice. He targets down the 1 Baneling. And this is going to, of course, allow him to... Well, he decides not to engage there. There's so many Roaches going across the map for Life.
Zenio is not getting the speed upgrade for his Roaches. His Roach count currently is
at 0. And this attack is going to be so difficult for him to deal with. In total, there are 22 Roaches out here. His Lings are getting shut down. Remember, he has +1 on these Roaches, and this timing that he's going to hit here, quite shockingly, may actually just kill Zenio.
He has no Infestors, they just popped now. He has even to use his drones to defend, and ZENEX Life, he attacks here, but Zenio doesn't have any units. He's only relying on the Fungals now. As soon as those Infestors run out of energy, he won't have any units left. He's not even starting his tech. +2 started for
nice
Life.
transfuses, but these rest of the roaches are coming. Nice splitting here by Life, and he is going to take out the rest of these queens. This has been such a good trade for him, and this isn't even all in.
No energy. There is no energy left. This is the last fungal that he has. All those Infestors are running out of energy now.
A bunch of roaches about to pop, but they're not ready yet.
It's too late. He only has to kill the Infestors. Ah, nice. He burrows them. That was so important, but still, there are so many roaches. Already 19 drones killed, and Zenio, he is so behind. He's 40 supply behind at this point in time.
Yep, and at this point, he's just dealing with more and more roaches being rallied. And remember, the upgrades are better for Life as well. Roach speed for Zenio has not even been started.
He's using Borrow here, but we have an Overseer already. He has an Overseer, and this is kind of the last blow.
Yeah.
ZENEX Life against Liquid Zenio. It looks like this game is going to end in a few seconds. GG!
Wow. A very aggressive attack that I was like, all right, he's building this roach count. I didn't expect him to attack like that because, yeah, even though Zenio was vulnerable, did he know that? When he saw the Lings coming in, I think that was the moment where he was like, oh, you're actually going to try to deny my hatchery here. You must be taking your own third. Went for a big attack and just killed him. He had that +1, and that meant his opponent with his Zergling heavy composition was not going to be able to kill his roaches. He tried to build the Infestors first. Something I'd like to go back to see, because I didn't actually catch this, was did he see the Infestation Pit with an Overseer? Did he see it at all? I mean, is that something where he was like, all right, you're going Infestors, I'm going to punish you, I'm going to hit timing? That's something I'd be really curious to see, because I'm not sure if he actually was able to scout that.
Yeah, but that should not work.
Yeah, usually it doesn't. You usually have spine crawlers in play. Zenio only had the one spine. He had a small Zergling force while he was taking the third base.
I have a simple problem with this. I would like to know. I feel like I missed something. I seriously feel like we missed something. I don't think so, but the problem is, what was his game plan? He didn't get speed for the roaches. He didn't get upgrades for the Zergling. Yesterday we saw a style that evolved around heavily upgraded Zerglings, around a lot of Infestors. And today we've seen no upgrades at all. There was nothing for the Zerglings. There was nothing for the roaches. Not even... Life was so far ahead already with his +1 attack. He immediately started +2 attack. Zenio didn't start any of these upgrades. He didn't get speed, and he didn't get any units. So he just relied on his Infestors, and he didn't have Spine Crawlers. There was only one.
Spines. That was the biggest problem. He was trying to do too much. He tried to get a third base, get the Infestation Pit, 10 Infestors, plus the Pathogen Glands. He can't even afford the Roach upgrades. He can't get +1 and speed and Infestors and Pathogen Glands and a third base.
Not the numbers. It's just better if you have a few Infestors at first and get some Roaches. He needs some units to defend. With the third base, he needs something mobile. He can't only rely on Spine Crawlers. Life got the third, and he got the Roaches first, added a few Infestors later on. So this is one of the things that I don't understand with...
Zenio at first, like he took the first risk.
Yeah, but what did he want to do?
He wanted to build his Roach count. He basically
How?
Are you talking about Life or Zenio?
Zenio.
Oh, I'm talking about Life.
No,
Life?
I'm talking about Zenio. What was his idea here? Because he can't rely on simply 6 Infestors and any attack.
No, he did too much at once. Well, let's see what Liquid is going to pick next. It's going to be Hero.
There has to be something.
Hero is coming out next, and Hero, man, he has shown great PvZ in the past. A real innovator of the matchup, using Phoenixes, in fact, in this matchup before most people were doing that. Really changing the way this matchup was played. Great micro coming out from this guy. He's got some of the best force shields in the world. I always say that when I watch Heroes control in some engagements, it's like he's actually using his fingers on a touchscreen to move his opponent's army where he wants it to be. A tough player for Life to face up against next. And the map is, of course, going to be Entombed Valley. We don't need to mention that. You see a Protoss coming out. The only Protoss Liquid has to offer today. It's going to be Entombed Valley every time.
Entombed is going to be great. I would love to see another game as we saw yesterday. A really, really long macro game. I wouldn't mind seeing carriers again. I kind of doubt that it's going to happen.
Yeah, I doubt it as well, but it's something that we could see, for sure. I don't know what Life is going to do. This guy has not shown himself too many times in the past, so it's not like something I can stylistically look at him and say, oh, I think he's probably going to go Infestors on this map. I mean, most people do, but I can't be like, I'm a little bit worried about what strategy he's going to do. Like, can he come up against Hero? How good is this Zerg player in ZVP? It's not something I can really say or judge. We're going to judge him right now.
Quick shot at the TL bench, and we are heading into our next game. We'll have the third game between Liquid and ZENEX in just a few seconds with our two players, another PvZ. And if you think about it, the Zergs are kind of what it will probably... We will have a lot of Zergs today.
We have a lot of Zergs.
The Zergs are among... The best players for the ZENEX team, I feel, are either Zerg or Protoss. We have Avengers already out right now. We still have Extreme, but with Live and Suo Shin and also Pat, you have three Zerg players that are really strong. We saw obviously the opening with Zenio, but we also have TLO and HeyPro. So a lot of Zerg players involved today, and now we have, well, Hero trying to snipe them here.
Yeah, Hero is probably going to be able to take him out on Entomb Valley, I feel. He's definitely the favorite. He made it all the way to the end of Code S last season, barring, of course, not making it into the finals, but a very top-notch player. You know, Hero, I feel, almost is still even a little bit underrated. I don't know how to explain it. Like, he made it so far in Code S. He's a big fan favorite, but people don't really appreciate how good he is. Like, when people talk about Hero or they talk about Squirtle, people talk about Squirtle like in a different way, like he's on a different level from Hero. But I feel like Hero's strengths are more profound. Like, his control is awesome. Like, he's an all-around good player, but his build orders, his strategy, and his control are awesome. Where does he lack in? Sometimes his decision-making, maybe a little bit, but I think overall this guy is a really, really good player who people aren't even appreciating enough.
I actually think that Hero is even a little bit more present than Squirtle.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, you have the run that Squirtle had recently, and that gave him a lot of publicity. But in general, just because being a part of Team Liquid also helps you with your reputation quite a lot, and you get a lot more exposure in the foreigner community than a lot of the Korean players have. And in terms of how they did in the recent past, obviously Squirtle is a bit ahead of Hero.
Yeah,
but just when it comes down to their exposure,
right,
I think Hero even might have an advantage here.
Well,
it's just... Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how Hero does here. Squirtle, obviously, like he's #1 ELO, but you can't compare these two players.
God. Don't get me started on ELO. Don't get me started. This is the most ridiculous system for StarCraft.
I want to hear your opinion on this. I want to get you started. I want to hear your opinion.
No. ELO is just completely useless for StarCraft. It's crap.
Explain. I want to hear your thoughts on
Every single time you have a player winning one big tournament, he shoots up in ELO rankings, and ELO rankings are just not made for StarCraft. I talked about this on Team Liquid and Rise, that there are just a lot of algorithms out there. They are a lot better. If you look up Glico, you will actually, if you Google Glico, you will find like a dossier, like a PDF file about Glico system. That's one of the way better systems. I'm not going to start this discussion here. That takes way too long, and you know it. And that's why we started it. You know that fully well, but ELO is crap for StarCraft. My honest opinion. And if you don't believe me, then look up Glico and prepare and compare ELO systems and Glico system and have a quick look at rankings between the two of them.
Actually, I think I have the same opinion of you, but what I do like ELO for is it shows, like, right now, like, this, like, week and the week before, like, recently, it's like, okay, he's doing really well right now. Like, right now, he's the dominant guy. Yeah, does it show who's the best player in the world?
Only because he wins one tournament?
Yeah.
No.
What?
You can have a good day, other players can have a bad one.
But listen, also...
If you have to take at least a small time frame.
Well,
not one weekend.
If you look at, I think MVP is #2 in ELO right now. He beat Squirtle.
I don't know.
But
I never watched ELO.
I actually looked at it for the first time today and forever, and I was like, you know what? I want to see who's there. And I think it's Squirtle's #1, MVP's #2 in Korea. And if you think about it, Squirtle came off with a top performance at IPL. He's been doing well in a lot of different events right now.
I remember that Teja at some point was #1 ELO because he won a couple of weekly series.
Oh, I didn't know that was actually the case. That's kind of weird. But
there were a couple of finals. There were one weekend, like online tournaments, and he won them against good players. And suddenly he was like rank 1 and did well in one tournament. But ELO is way too short-sighted. I feel if you have to really if you want to make a statement about the current shape of a player, you have to at least use a time frame that involves at least 2 weeks up to a month.
Okay.
On one day, I don't really know if you can say that's the best player, because if you just take one day
Right,
or,
well,
or
yeah,
a
of course
weekend,
not.
then there's also a lot of players that did not even participate.
That's
so.
true, but yeah, like it's you're right, because for example, if you take MVP's win in the GSL Codas, that's
We're
a
getting
month. That's
sidetracked,
like
by
an
the way.
over a month long term. Well, this is fine. We're actually having this long break. This is actually a perfect time to talk about this.
Exactly. Yeah, kind
But,
of. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but the players aren't in the lobby yet, so I don't know. Oh, it was something about the headset, I think. But anyway, it's something that I'd be interested to look at this Glico format you were talking about, because I don't know. I've never even heard
I
of
can
that.
send you the PDF later on.
Yeah, send me that, because I'm curious. I don't really know that much about how the ELO system works exactly, like how the point system works, to where like the shifts happen so rapidly. But I think it seems to be like everyone. I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people use it. So I'm kind of curious.
It's simple. That's the one thing. It's simple and it's well known.
Oh, and we have a foreign fan listening to us right now using that headset. And if you guys come down to the studio, you can
He's
listen
like,
to
"What's
English
happening?"
commentary as well. Just take your headset and plug it into that system that we have, where you can wirelessly listen to us. They'll listen to us right now, talk about them in their headsets. You guys could be too if you were here. They're like sitting there in their chairs right now going, I'm so glad I'm here in Korea. I wish that more people could come.
We actually saw them earlier already.
Yeah, we did.
We always meet up every time we have a cast. Doesn't matter if it's Code or GSTL. We always grab a coffee before that. So we were just sitting in the cafe, and suddenly those two came along, and
we saw them.
Yeah,
we spotted them. They spotted us. We were spotted.
Like, oh, look, foreigners. Ah, yeah, StarCraft.
Yeah. Well, one of them had a Team Liquid shirt, so I knew what was going on. I knew that they were StarCraft fans. If a foreigner was just in Korea with a Team Liquid shirt on, that wasn't a StarCraft fan, I would be a little bit surprised to be like,
yeah,
where did you get that shirt? Okay, who gave you that? Here's some more fans there as well. That was like the shortest cut we've ever had to look at a fan. But
I looked at the monitor, and at the same second, I looked at me and was like, wait a second.
Well, guys, we are going to jump into Entombed Valley very soon. Both players appear to be ready. This, of course, going to be Liquid Hero against ZENEX Life.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah, just in case you forgot, during this brief interlude where Calder and I discussed different ranking systems.
It's actually a really, really complex topic.
Yeah.
It's a very, very complex topic, and I know there are a lot of different opinions.
I like, I don't know. Well, we'll talk. We should like have a show about this or something. I don't know. I actually don't know enough about either of this. I don't know anything about the system you suggested. I don't know even enough about
We set
ELO
out
to
a
say
ranking
anything.
website. We had a ranking website. Guys, if you want to check it out, you can have a look. It's sc2charts.net. Just check it out. There is a ranking, and you can click on the player names. Then you see their recent history. You see information about them. Click on their profile picture. Then you see a prize ranking as well, a prize money ranking. And that's when I looked in all these different ranking systems. Also the ranking system that, for example, the Xbox uses. I just checked all of them. We even had a talk with this professor who developed the Glico system about it, how we could optimize it for StarCraft 2. So that's why I kind of know a little bit about how those systems work. But it's a really complex topic, and we can't just talk about it.
Well, we'll do it later.
Yeah.
Right now, it is going to be ZENEX versus Liquid, Life versus Hero on Entombed Valley.